Greenville city leaders are talking money. They are in the process of creating the next city budget with millions of dollars at stake.
That's right. Fox Carolina's Kennedy Harris breaks down where your money is going. Kennedy.
Yeah, each year Greenville's budget keeps getting bigger and bigger, largely due to property tax revenue. But the highlight of this budget, no tax increases for you. However, the projects leaders decide to spend will impact you.
The budget reflects our focus on managing our growth.
The projected $126 million general fund budget is what will usher Greenville into the next fiscal year.
At a time when a lot of cities are really struggling, we're not. We're a very vibrant city with no tax increase.
Housing, green space, neighborhoods, development, and mobility are the focus. The city plans to increase the affordable housing allocation by $1 million up to $3.7 million. Typically, tourism dollar usage is limited to parks and green space. That will be about $3 million over budget this year. A new state bill could allow those funds for housing.
And I think that's just the beginning of our investment in affordable housing.
As for the rest of the tourism funding,
we focus on those really catalytic projects, big things like parks, Falls Park, Unity Park, creating more green space with the tourism dollars.
The budget also sets aside millions for park improvements, including an inclusive playground at Cleveland Park. $19 million from a bond will go to neighborhoods.
For sidewalks, street repaving, anti-traffic congestion tools.
And Mayor White says they're even considering a green bond to create and preserve open green space. They're also finishing the new public safety headquarters and funding 10 new officer positions for the police department. Also,
what you're going to see in the budget is the capacity to build as many as 2 or 3 new parking garages.
$5 million for that. At least one new garage will go in the West End.
A budget really reflects our priorities, and more than that, it reflects values of what we think is important.
And there will be a public hearing on May 22nd. Council is expected to adopt the budget on June 12th. We'll have more details on foxcarolina.com.